Hi, Dominica here from easysewingforbeginners.com. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to use this sewing practice sheet, which will get you practicing sewing straight lines and curvy lines with a few tips and tricks along the way. And the purpose of this is to just get you using your sewing machine, to get you comfortable with your foot pedal and how your sewing machine works. Okay, so one of the barriers we have when we first start sewing is just not knowing what to start with, what project to focus on. So if we can just practice with a needle in the sewing machine and a piece of paper, it might make it a little bit easier to get started. Okay, so I haven't put any thread in my sewing machine at all. I've just got my needle in. I've got my standard sewing machine foot with a Janome. It's an A foot. And I've set my sewing machine to the slowest speed possible, but you might not have a speed adjustment, so you might just put your foot on the pedal without putting any paper underneath, just to get a feel for the different speed depending on the pressure that you put on the foot pedal. Okay, so I've got my sewing machine set to slow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the first line here. I'm going to try and get my line lined up with a little gap in my foot there. Okay, and the tip of the line is going to be placed where I think the needle will come down through the paper. So this is pretty much what you'd do if you're sewing a piece of fabric as well. So once I've got the piece of paper where I want it, I'm going to lower down the presser foot. And it doesn't matter if you're not exactly precise, okay? It's just to get you comfortable and just to get you started. All right. Now, if you're worried about sewing your fingers, what I usually tend to do is keep my hands on either side of the fabric when I'm sewing, okay? And I might have my hands around the front here as well, just when I'm turning the fabric. Okay, so your fingers won't really go near the sewing foot at all, or the needle. While I'm sewing, I'm going to be focusing on this line going in between the gap there. So I won't be really looking at where the needle comes down through the paper. Okay, I'm going to be looking at that line there. All right, so I'm going to make a start. So just gently put your foot down. Okay. Just get a feel for it. When you feel a bit more comfortable, put your foot down on the pedal a bit more, or I'm going to just increase the speed there. Okay, so try and keep that line going in between the gap on the foot there. Okay, once you get to the end, lift the presser foot up. Okay, you probably won't be able to see it on mine, but I can feel got the lumps, and you can see how well you've gone just by looking on the back of the piece of paper as well. All right, so I'm going to try that again with the second line, and what you might like to do this time is sew forward a few stitches and then just practice doing your reverse stitch or back stitch. Okay, so I've got my finger on my reverse stitch. You might have a lever of some sort that you need to push up. Okay, so practice your back stitch and then go for it. So keeping your hands on either side, just guiding it through. You don't really need to push it through. I've got to make sure I look at that line and keep it going through the center of the foot. Okay, when you get to the end as well, back stitch. Okay, just to get you into the habit of doing that back stitch or reverse stitch. All right, now I've got some curvy lines on here as well. So again, I'm going to put the end of the line underneath where the needle will go through, and I'm going to do a few stitches. I'll practice my back stitch. I usually like to count forward 4 and count back 4. Okay, so now I'm going to try and keep that line going in between the middle of that foot, and then just gently turn the paper. Okay. And if you haven't quite got the turn and you need to stop the machine, what you can do is put the needle down into the paper, lift the presser foot up and just turn it a little bit just to line it up and get it back on track. Okay, so again, stop the machine, put the needle down if you want. Do a little bit of a turn, sew a bit more. Press the foot up and turn. Okay, keep on going. Now with my machine I can use the button to put my needle down, but you might need to turn the hand wheel towards you to get that needle down into the paper or the fabric, whatever you're using. Okay. So you can keep on practicing, draw a few more lines or print this sheet out again and just keep on going until you feel that you're comfortable enough to move on to a piece of fabric and do it. I'll have one more video as well that focuses on sewing with practicing pivoting. Okay, so I'll put a link to that video. I hope you enjoyed this video and keep on watching to learn how to sew so you can be more confident and successful with your sewing. Thanks for watching.